Hello, welcome to We Are Cosmic Nature, the podcast. My name is Kelsey, and I'm so honored that you're here and listening. Happy 8/8 Lions Gate. I'll talk a little bit about what that means. And just thank you for being here. Today is a fun, expressive, heart-opening conversation that I have with my dear friend Caroline. And like many episodes on this podcast, I really just want to bring more tools, conversations, systems, wisdom around how to live a healthier, happier life as a cosmic being here on Earth. So yeah, we really take on the theme, which I was inspired by and reached out to her to record. And I think it's just hilarious that this is coming out on 8/8 and this is the time that we picked to record. But Venus is currently retrograde in Leo. I went live a couple days ago about this. And yeah, these Leo energies. So essentially what our conversation entails is how to really follow your heart and tap into your creativity and tap into your true self and your true desires and create the life that you love and deserve. And I think that Venus retrograde in Leo right now is really helping us to tap into this concept of, oh wow, I do deserve the things that I'm passionate about, and I do deserve to experience them. How can I make my values a priority? And Venus retrograde dates, oh goodness, I believe is July 5th till September 19th. Let me just check here. Because we are all going to, September 3rd here. Okay, hold on. We're all learning about this. Okay, sorry, July 22nd until September 3rd, but I think those other dates that I mentioned are the shadow. So the energies might still be there, but July 22nd to September 3rd, Venus is retrograde in Leo. So this is really asking us to connect deeper to our hearts. Like, what is your relationship to yourself, like your creativity, your passions, your playfulness? Are you really connected to that? And are you making that a high value in your life, that you are following your heart? And with the North Node being in Aries as well, which is a fellow fire sign, we're all just honestly being asked to courageously, that's the Leo energy, boldly, that's the Aries energy, move toward these self concepts. Like Aries rules the self, Leo is like the creative, expressive self. And then Sagittarius is kind of like the wise being who's more out there and teaching and sharing. And these are the fire signs. But we are being asked to connect to our inner fire, like our sacral chakra. Like, okay, if you want to know if your sacral chakra is like blocked, have you ever had digestive issues or like tummy troubles? It's so common. It's so common these days to not be able to digest our food very well. And while there is a whole other issue of that with, the chemicals and everything that we put on our food, but without going on too far of a tangent, it really does have to do with the way that we're living our lives, which is very mental and calculated. And what about the passion as well? How are we following our passions? So we really talk about that in this episode. I'm happy that it's 8/8. This is fun energy to be playing with. So what does that mean? I mean, well, the numerology of 8/8 is pretty exciting in and of itself. 8, we know is that infinite potential and unlimited possibility. So double 8 is great. I'm not trying to rhyme there, but the reason this is called Lion's Gate portal is because we are at 15 degrees of Leo, meaning the sun is at 15 degrees of Leo, which is kind of like the peak of any sign. There's 29 degrees in a sign, but that like 14, 15 degree mark is like the peak. So we're at that sort of that peak of the Leo energy. And then we're actually, it's a portal. It's also called like the Sirius gateway. So this is when the star Sirius, the fixed star Sirius, I believe it comes above the horizon from like mid-July to mid-August. So this is like the peak of it. Anyways, what it all means is that there's this extra celestial magical energy coming in, and yeah, that Leo lion energy, like let's just boldly, passionately just live and be and create and do. And we've got all this extra star cosmic energy coming to the planet, radiating out. So receive, you know, if you like to manifest, you want to write some things down, or maybe you feel inspired by this conversation to just go after it. Well, we are celebrating you over here. So yeah, I'll wrap it up here. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy this conversation. Caroline is so inspiring. Oh my gosh, she is just a pure soul. So I'm honored to be able to share her energy with you, and definitely give her a follow. And yeah, thank you, and we'll see you soon. Hello, welcome to We Are Cosmic Nature, the podcast. My name is Kelsey, and I'm so honored that you're here and listening. Happy 8/8 Lions Gate. I'll talk a little bit about what that means. And yeah, just thank you for being here. Today is a fun, expressive, heart-opening conversation that I have with my dear friend Caroline. And we, well, like many episodes on this podcast, I really just want to bring more tools, conversations, systems, wisdom around how to live a healthier, happier life as a cosmic being here on Earth. So yeah, we really take on the theme, which I was inspired by and reached out to her to record. And I think it's just hilarious that this is coming out on 8/8, and this is the time that we picked to record. But Venus is currently retrograde in Leo. I went live a couple days ago about this. And yeah, these Leo energies. So essentially what our conversation entails is how to, yeah, really follow your heart and tap into your creativity and tap into your true self and your true desires and create the life that you love and deserve. And I think that Venus retrograde in Leo right now is really helping us to tap into this this concept of, oh wow, I do deserve the things that I'm passionate about, and I do deserve to experience them. You know, how can I make my values a priority? And Venus retrograde dates, oh goodness, I believe is July 5th till September 19th. Let me just check here. Because we are all going to, oh, September 3rd here. Okay, hold on. We're all learning about this. Okay, sorry, July 22nd till September 3rd, but I think those other dates that I mentioned are the shadow. So the energies might still be there, but July 22nd to September 3rd, Venus is retrograde in Leo. So this is really asking us to connect deeper to our hearts. Like, what is your relationship to yourself, like your creativity, your passions, your playfulness? Are you really connected to that? And are you making that a high value in your life, that you are following your heart? And with the North Node being in Aries as well, which is a fellow fire sign, we're all just honestly being asked to courageously, that's the Leo energy, boldly, that's the Aries energy, move toward these self concepts. Like Aries rules the self, Leo is like the creative, expressive self. And then Sagittarius is kind of like the wise being who's more out there and teaching and sharing. And these are the fire signs. But we are being asked to connect to our inner fire, like our sacral chakra. Like, okay, if you want to know if your sacral chakra is like blocked, have you ever had digestive issues or like tummy troubles? It's so common. It's so common these days to not be able to digest our food very well. And while there is a whole other issue of that with, you know, the chemicals and everything that we put on our food, but without going on too far of a tangent, it really does have to do with the way that we're living our lives, which is very mental and calculated. And what about the passion as well? You know, how are we following our passions? So We really talk about that in this episode. I'm happy that it's 8/8. This is fun energy to be playing with. So what does that mean? I mean, well, the numerology of 8/8 is pretty exciting in and of itself. 8, we know is that infinite potential and unlimited possibility. So double 8 is great. I'm not trying to rhyme there, but the reason this is called Lionsgate portal is because we are at 15 degrees of Leo, meaning the sun is at 15 degrees of Leo, which is kind of like the peak of any sign. There's 29 degrees in the sign, but that like 14, 15 degree mark is like the peak. So we're at that sort of that peak of the Leo energy. And then we're actually it's a portal. It's also called like the Sirius gateway. So this is when the star Sirius, the fixed star Sirius, I believe it comes above the horizon from like mid-July to mid-August. So this is like the peak of it. Anyways, what it all means is that there's this extra celestial magical energy coming in, and that Leo lion energy, like let's just boldly, passionately just live and be and create and do. And we've got all this extra star cosmic energy coming to the planet, radiating out. So receive, if you like to manifest, you want to write some things down, or maybe you feel inspired by this conversation to just go after it. Well, we are celebrating you over here. So I'll wrap it up here. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy this conversation. Caroline is so inspiring. Oh my gosh, she is just a pure soul. So I'm honored to be able to share her energy with you, and definitely give her a follow. And thank you, and we'll see you soon. Okay, I have my wonderful, beautiful Taurasian goddess queen friend, Caroline, to chat with me today about a handful of things that really inspire me about her. And I'm just super honored that you're in my circle and that we can have a chat. We met, I guess, a few years ago on Instagram. And we've really just clicked. And though we haven't met in person, which feels ridiculous, we will eventually. And I know we're probably just going to cry when we see each other, but
Yes, that's gonna be amazing.
Yeah. So welcome. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. So Caroline, I'd love if you just share with people a little bit about what's up in your life right now, and how do you show up in the world? How do you serve people right now? What's happening?
Well, my primary job, if you can call it that, is as a tattoo artist.
Mhm.
And I started tattooing about a year ago, but just recently went full-time self-employed. So that's really taking up a lot of my space, both mentally and physically. I am at the studio right now almost every day, but I love it. And doing an investment course, and
Mhm.
then in the process of moving to Australia. And that's
Oh,
really the only three things besides my partner and dog that I'm focused on. Yeah.
yeah. I love it. And I can see your studio in the background. It looks super aesthetically
Yeah.
pleasing.
It's so nice and light.
Yes, that's something that we both I feel have in common, is just having our space and energy clear and peaceful and harmonious, and
Yeah.
really that it is that visual aspect that helps us so much. Would you agree?
Yeah. Yeah, if my apartment is messy or if I have a space where I just do not like looking at like a specific corner, I will definitely want to move things around or like
Hmm.
change things up.
Hmm.
Because like if everything in my physical realm is okay and tidy and neat and nice to look at, I'll be way more calm on the
Yeah.
inside. Yeah.
Yeah. I totally agree. And I wanted to dive a little bit deeper into that. I'm just feeling so much like Venus chat right now. Like I think it's maybe that
Yeah.
Taurus in you, and like just and me, I don't know, I really resonate with my Libra rising as well, just really needing
Yeah, I have the
that
same.
harmony and
Hmm.
design and art and all of that.
Just aesthetics,
Yeah.
romanticizing your life all the
Yes.
time. It's really nice.
Yes. Yes. I love it. So, okay, so I do want to talk to you about your tattoo art because
Hmm.
it's so gorgeous, and we'll definitely have it linked here and share it. And it is so visually
Thank you.
pleasing.
Yeah.
So, how did you start? Like, how did you get into becoming a tattoo artist? I remember you were interning for a while with someone, and now you've
Hmm.
got a full
Yeah.
practice. This is so exciting. So, tell me how that started.
Well, it's a few years ago. So initially, I hated tattoos. I really disliked them. I was like, you do not put a bumper sticker on a Bentley. Like, why would you do that to your buddy?
Mhm.
And then I traveled to India, and you know, solo traveling just does something to you, where you're like, just fuck it, let's just do it all. And I got a tattoo with a friend of mine that I met down there, and she was like, let's just do it. And I got a tiny one. I was like, it's okay. Started getting into it, but I did not think I would want to work with it. And then when I was a cafe manager, a customer came up to the till, ordered a coffee, and she had these gorgeous tattoos. And just looked at them and I said, can you make one for me? And then in this process of me going, she was tattooing at home. She she told me about her process, and I just love that it wasn't like a regular tattoo place, where it's like black walls and you've got stickers all over, and it's kind of like
Mm.
being in a cave. But she just made this beautiful holistic ceremony for me, and I was like, I really like it. If this is what tattooing is, I would love to tattoo because I've always been creative. And
Mhm.
so I started traveling a bit more, got tattoos, as I went, and I noticed that most tattoo artists were just traveling and then just tattooing. I was like, damn, because I've always wanted to do something that I can travel with.
Mhm.
And so I started drawing, got accepted into, not, I've always drawn, but like serious drawing, like actually practicing. And then I got accepted into an art school. Um, and then I was like, okay, let's just do it. So I think in the span of me getting my first tattoo and thinking about becoming a tattoo artist, like getting getting an apprenticeship, I think it was like 4 years.
Mhm.
But now I'm like, okay, there's a reason why it not only took me that long, but that it was kind of like slow and steady. And I'm
Mhm.
like, this is what I love. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so cool. So it is like drawing, but on a person permanently,
Yeah.
kind
And you
of.
definitely cannot take any of your drawing like to the skin, I'd say. Well, mostly I painted and DIY'd as a kid, and I painted like very abstract work. But that is not what I love tattooing. I definitely like it just neat and tidy and small
Mhm.
and clean. But yeah, it's definitely a part of my calling. I feel like I have
Mhm.
so many things I want to do in life, but for
Yeah.
now I really love it.
Yeah, it sounds like it's just a beautiful outlet for you to express your creativity and your
Yeah.
appreciation of like visual aesthetics, like we were speaking about. Um, and do you make like, because I can see your studio in the background, it's gorgeous. So
Hmm.
ha
Thank you.
that one studio that you were inspired by in person, like, have you been able to, yeah, sort of create a bit of a ceremony or peaceful environment for yourself? Like, what does an appointment look like with you?
Well, I really take pride in making it very personal just
Mm,
because I don't know if I think somebody can relate to it, maybe like girls who are a bit more shy or um, don't want to ask too many questions. But I've experienced myself that, sometimes you come into a studio and it's very like quick, and you don't really know the person. You just book it through a shop manager and you go in and it's like da da da. very quick, and then you ask the artist, can it be smaller or can it be like thinner? They
Mhm.
say no, and I've been very traumatized by it from my own experiences. So in this space, I really wanted to. I have it with a friend. He owns it, and I technically just rent a chair. But with us just being the two of us, we kind of share it. But an appointment with me would technically like in its most simple way be chill, I would
Mhm.
say. So you come in, we grab a coffee or a tea, whatever you feel like, and then I've drawn up a design and we take a look at it. And my most important thing that I take pride in is making sure that people feel the design and don't just say yes to it just
Mhm.
out of pressure. So if they have any changes to it, if they have anything, they let me
Mhm.
know.
Mhm.
And then we put on the stencil and people sit down and we just, people can take as many breaks as they want to. I come from an old studio where it's like you're just stacked on with bookings, and I really just hated that rush. So now I make sure that I have like a lot of hours with the same client, even though we maybe just need 1 hour.
Mhm.
But I really want to make sure that everybody feels like there's time
Mm.
to change, to chill, to do whatever.
Mhm.
So
I
yeah,
love it. Yeah, you're really making it a harmonious experience and bringing like your heart into it, your soul into it.
yeah.
And um yeah, I think that's so beautiful. And I've definitely experienced that with tattoos. I think I only have one tattoo that was more ceremonial.
Hmm.
And the others were just like literally it was on a whim. I just went in, they're like, yep, sit in the chair, okay, bye.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, this one was, oh my God. I mean, it was like we did breath work, we did a
Mm,
meditation, like it was a whole thing. I didn't know. And I was like, wow. And they were like, yeah, like this is, there's meaning, there's ink going on your body. I'm like,
yeah,
damn, it really opened my eyes to like, yeah,
exactly.
art and applying it to your skin. It's pretty magical actually. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really what I wanna break out of is the kind of like the quick phase of it of being like, oh, whatever, I'll just pick something from a piece of paper and be like, yeah, that's cool, and then put it on my skin. Like for me at least, it's it used to be such a big tradition. Like you didn't just get a tattoo just for the sake of it. It was like, okay, now you're an adult, now you've had a kid, or you've earned this amount of respect in the community. And then yeah, I just want to create like telling people, even if it's a small tattoo, even if you get a dot, like
Hmm.
it's big, like you're doing this, like wow.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, so tattoos for me are just as special as like regardless of them being like a tiny dot or like a big
Hmm.
back piece. It's yeah, I think it's an
Hmm.
amazing tradition.
Yeah, yeah, tradition, ceremony, ritual. I love it.
Mm,
And were you always like you did mention that when you were younger you would paint. So
mhm.
creativity, has that always been, I guess, a part of your life?
Yeah, I would definitely say it has been a huge part of my life. I would like DIY every single thing, even if I couldn't use it afterwards. Like my best childhood memories would be waking up at like 6 a.m., having a project in mind, and then going out to like a store with my dad, buying like all of these supplies, and then going home, make a bag out of a paper
Mm.
something something, just random stuff that I would find.
Hmm.
And just yeah, just being creative. I've always been an overthinker,
Hmm.
and when I do art or when I tattoo, especially when I tattoo, I just don't think at all.
Mm.
So it's definitely been a trip back to childhood
Yeah.
and bringing back that inner child
Yeah.
and enjoying it. That has been so important. Yeah.
Oh wow. I love that. It's like, yeah, it's meditative, it sounds like in a way.
Yeah.
And um and I've experienced that too. And I have like a paint kit that I ordered a few months ago, and I got into it for a little while, but when I was younger, yeah, painting was like, oh my God, 6 hours just went by. Like
Yeah,
it's like,
exactly.
whoa, it's like dark out. I came in here at lunch. Like it's amazing how
Exactly.
creativity and that self-expression just sort of deletes time.
Yeah. And it's really appreciated if you have an overthinking mind. And it doesn't have to be art necessarily, but when I find something that makes time just go by in an instant, I
Mhm.
really make sure to like take it in and then keeping on doing it because we have so many things in life
Mhm.
in this busy society. So finding something that makes you not think and just stay in the now, it's like, oh, what a gift.
Mm. Mm. Yeah, it really is. And it's too bad that I think for many of us that is a treasure that we find in our life, like to be able to pause time. It's like, whoa, like it feels like that should be at least 50% of our life, just to be blessed and like
Definitely.
in the
And it makes
moment.
such a big difference. It makes the biggest difference. Like it was it less than a no, it would have been a year ago. I was a venue manager and I've always been in the hospitality scene.
Mhm.
And I was so stressed and would just be on my phone all day, even though I'd be working on side projects. And now I would say I'm at least 50% happier in
Mm.
my daily life, if not 60 or 70.
Wow. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I can and we do have a lot in common, and I think we've spoke about this before, but I also was working in, yeah, hospitality and restaurant management, and it's like
Yeah.
we have those skills and we're able to handle the stress, but then at the end of the day, it's like, why are we testing our resilience? Like, how can we lean more into
Yeah.
that inner child, like you say? And
Yeah.
it's like it's like black and white experience. Like it's we're that busy, we're on, we're doing things, and that's so
Yeah.
celebrated in society. It's so celebrated to be like busy and achieved and like all
Yeah.
this stuff. And then when you
Yeah.
have these like sort of, yeah, times and activities and things that we can do to just find stillness, it's like
Slow down.
it's
Yeah.
a whole other experience.
Yeah. And it even gives you, for me at least, because I have a lot of projects that I've always wanted to work on
Hmm.
and projects that I want to get back into and kind of rekindle the energy of it. But just having side hobbies or
Hmm.
things that you have the time to do.
Hmm.
Let's say now I'm tattooing, but because I'm in the orbit, in the vortex of good energy, I also feel less stressed and it makes me able to continue projects that I've neglected a long time ago because I was like,
Hmm.
no, I'm so stressed.
Hmm.
So you might be working the same hours a week, but it makes such a difference in how much mental clarity and space that you have left at the end of the
Hmm.
day to do other things.
Yeah, I totally agree. And similarly, yeah, I'm technically quote unquote working probably a similar amount of hours that I did when
Mhm.
I was restaurant managing, though restaurant hours are sometimes like five to
Yeah.
close. So it's like
Yeah.
not like that many hours, but yeah, it's like what I'm doing that's lighting me up. And it doesn't feel like work all the time.
No.
Sometimes it does, but sometimes it's like
Yeah.
if you're passionate about it, if your heart is in it, then
Yeah.
it's a different experience.
Yeah. I feel like everyone should experience loving the everyday life
Hmm.
and not just Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. Like let's live for every day.
Yeah.
So speaking of passions and what
Hmm.
lights us up, what else is lighting you up in life? I know you mentioned possibly traveling. to an Australia. I think you said it at the beginning of the
Mhm.
podcast recording, but we were talking about it before. But I want to hear more about, yeah, what are you passionate about and how do you lean into those passions?
Well, I guess my 2 primary well, I have 3, but it would be art, like creating.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, I'm gonna put yoga under, like, holistic health, because
Yeah.
holistic health is my number 1 thing in life, and then everything else in my life is kind of an expression of that.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, traveling, holistic health, and art, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I have well, of course, now I'm tattooing full time. Traveling, just got accepted into a yoga school in Australia, which fingers crossed will happen,
Mm-hmm.
but it will, manifesting it. And holistic health, where we got to know each other from Enagic
Mm-hmm.
and um, the best water on the planet. I really want to get into that again
Mm-hmm.
because it just every time the most important thing for me with things in my life is if it lights me up, if it gets like a tiny like sparkle
Mm-hmm.
feeling in my tummy, then I know that that's what I want.
Mm.
And things that I might not have time to do in the moment, I still keep in the back
Yeah.
of my mind, knowing, okay, I need to sort out some things and then I can get into this, or I need to get into this before I sort out these things. But the 3 main parts, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely how my every being is, expressed in, yeah.
Yeah. I actually love that that you said, uh when you have that sparkle feeling in your tummy, that's something that your heart really wants you to, lean
Yeah.
into. I feel like that's such a good takeaway. And I think maybe we all have different ways of sensing
Mhm.
what our heart and soul wants us to move into. But maybe there's some people listening who resonate with it when you say that sparkle in your tummy. Like you feel chill, like I have chills. So it's like this
Yeah.
feeling in your body and like it makes you want to smile, right? It's like
Yeah.
when you talk about that thing or you think about that possibility or that opportunity or that path or whatever it is, it's probably going to make you smile before any self-doubt comes in.
Yeah.
Because then the self-doubt might come in, oh, I
Yeah.
can't do that, or that I'm not, whatever, all the internal dialogue that we navigate. But like it's that initial sparkle that we got to follow.
Yeah. I also know if it's something that I'm passionate about or if it's something that's really, like, catching my attention,
Hmm.
is if I have, like a flow of thoughts, like development thoughts. So let's say if I have like I have this idea and my brain just starts coming up with several ideas of like, oh, we could do this, we could do that, or we could use it for this, and we could do this with that. Like if I have that train of thoughts, that's
Oh,
like a momentum. I also know that okay, this is something I need to look into. Um,
oh, yeah,
yeah. So if
true.
most of my projects, well, the 3 things that I just mentioned, I would say they're the things keeping me up at night, definitely.
Hmm.
Because not in a bad way, I'm just like, "Oh, if I combined these 2, I could do this, and then it could be this thing."
Wow.
So it's like it's a train of thoughts, but it has taken a long time because most of the time not anymore, but when I was still finding my path, like, years ago, it would only get to the thought idea. So like now when I'll sometimes check in even like on a day if I'm feeling a bit low. I'm like, okay, is it what I'm doing or is it just this day that I'm feeling low? And I can
Hmm.
instantly, if I think on the vision or the goal that I've had in mind all the time about this certain thing I'm doing, and I get that tiny sparkle and I start thinking, I'm like, okay, yeah, just a bad day. I'm still loving what I'm doing. But if the thoughts and the sparkle starts like going away, then I'm like, okay, I need to reassess.
Yeah. Oh, that's such a tangible, yeah, tool that we can, that you just gave a few, even like what's
Oh,
keeping you
thank you.
up at night? Like what are you thinking about, yeah, before you go to bed? I mean, maybe not worrisome thoughts, but like, yeah, things that you're inspired by and that train of
Yeah,
inspiration, like, oh, this could happen, and then I could do this, and then I could do like that. You're receiving that, like that's
yeah,
inspiration. And like for me, it's like, okay, where does inspiration come from? Where do our desires come from? Like we all have different desires, but yeah, what is that? Like you can't pinpoint it in
no.
a scientific way. Like that's fully just soul and heart and like a part of your
Full
purpose.
on. Yeah. And I think you know what your purpose is. And it sounds so cliche, but it really is true. The more you do what you love, let's say you start out with a part time job that you love, or start a project at home that you love, the more you do more of that thing or things that
Mhm,
light you up, it
mhm,
will be so easy for you down the road to be like, yep, love it, not hate it. Like to just be like, what do you want to do? What do you not feel like doing?
mhm.
And yeah, but it's all about feeling. And if you're not connected with the feeling part, then it can be really difficult. And
Yeah.
it's just something you have to learn along the way.
Yeah, yeah, like if we stay in our logical mind,
Hmm.
then we're missing out on
Yeah,
that fulfillment and that joy and that pleasure. Like speaking of Venus energy, like what what do you value? What brings you joy and pleasure in your life? And
yeah.
if you have to write a list, write a list. Like or if
Oh, I write lists all the time.
yeah.
It's like when you do the easiest way I would say is doing a vision board, and
Mhm.
then you can I sometimes mix it up. Sometimes I do like, okay, what were my dreams when I was a kid? Like what was I thinking about all the time? What did I love doing? And then I could be like, okay, how can I express that still? Like how can I still paint or whatever?
Mhm.
But the other way around, I would like put out all my wildest dreams. Like Balash said, one of the coaches within like kind of the Enagic realm, he said, think as big as you can and then tell yourself you're not dreaming big enough.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, and I keep on doing that. I'm like, okay, if I would just like go outrageously crazy and be like, I want this and this and that in my life. And then you trace it back to like, okay, what would I have to do to achieve this thing? And
Mhm.
then it gets really simple,
Yeah.
and all of a
Yeah.
sudden you're doing what you love.
Yeah, he says reverse engineer your life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So to um yeah, maybe write it out or make a vision board or whatever it is and then and break it down into simple steps.
Yeah,
Um and just keep at it because why not? Like just following your heart and what lights you up. Like it's amazing. I think about my lifestyle now and it is something I dreamed about 5 years ago, like,
yeah,
oh, to be able to just go at my own pace in a day and work on XYZ in this project, like, oh, that'd be so
yes,
sweet. And I'm like, I'm actually doing it, but I'm already like thinking about the next thing. And
exactly.
I'm like,
Yeah,
okay, this is like, once you reach it, you're like, okay, this is good. And I so appreciate it. But we continue to evolve and
what's the
expand and our
next? Yeah,
desires and our passions grow we are creative beings. Like we're literally here to create life, like creating a life that we love, like,
exactly. Like you have a life regardless. Why not fill it with things that you love? It's
yeah.
and it's so simple. It can be so fun and so creative. It is tough because you have to make a lot of decisions, but tough in what way? Because it's about you. You'll always be the center of your life.
Mm,
So you have to make sure that you're happy that you do what you love and you can change it at any time.
yeah. And
It's the beauty of it.
totally. And like I like that you said, sometimes it can be tough that you have to make decisions, but yeah, what is your relationship to personal responsibility and maybe like commitment to your dreams? Like how are you? I'm just so inspired by Venus right now. Venus being retrograde in
Yeah.
Leo is like our entire conversation. I'm just talking about, yeah, what we love and how we can create it and following our heart, but it's like we can reorient our perspective to um yeah, to things like discipline um and commitments, and maybe it takes a little bit of quote unquote hard work, but like it doesn't have to. Like you can make that decision,
Exactly.
you know?
And I also think like what's harder? Is it making choices about like, oh, which passion do I choose? Like, oh, I love all of these things. Which ones can I choose to work full time with or whatever it might be? Or is it harder to stay in an everyday lifestyle that I just do not love and then just
Mhm.
be miserable
Mhm.
and like go to sleep all the time, wake up all the
Mhm.
time?
Mhm.
Like you have a life regardless of, you know,
Mhm.
of what you want, but you have to fill it with something that lights you up. So
Mhm.
creating however you can do it.
Yeah. And you're obviously entrepreneurial, and I think I believe personally entrepreneurship is like it's a spiritual practice. And
Oh,
it's
full
you
on.
it's you stepping into ownership of your life and following your heart and following your passions. So that's, I guess
Yeah.
that's my definition, but how would you define it, and why did you choose this path?
Well, I would define entrepreneurship by, I would say, being responsible of your own destiny or like being the creator of your life.
Mhm.
Because you really have to, like, let's say you work at a job that you might not like and you have a boss and stuff, and it's a safe space. Days might go by, weeks might go by, like, and all of a sudden you've had this job for 10 years without knowing where the time went because you were so
Mhm.
focused on Saturday, Sunday.
Mhm.
And with entrepreneurship, at least is what I feel like, you have to be very conscious. You have to be very active all the time because you cannot sleep. You have things you need to do, or like you want to do because you've chosen it, but you have things that has to be done. You have people you have to connect with or give answers to, or like you all the time you have to be conscious and you have to make decisions about whether you like what you're doing or not. So definitely being the creator of your own
Mm.
destiny, your own story, your everyday life, what I
Mhm.
say is the definition. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I could define it any better than than you did. 100%. I agree. And yeah, and you're met with like it's such a healing experience. Like you're met with any lingering, maybe limiting beliefs or self-doubts that um that kept you staying small maybe before you moved into entrepreneurship. It's like once you do it, it's like, okay, now I'm meeting all of the reasons. Yeah, literally all the reasons I was
Yeah.
staying small, and you heal through the experience, and you're like, I am deserving of this life that I desire. Like I am gonna,
Yeah,
make
it's
this work.
and when you believe in something so much, you just cannot imagine your life without it. Like when we first met and I got into magic, I was like, I don't know how I could not, even if I fall in and out of it, I don't know how I could not be in this space.
Mm-hmm.
And with entrepreneurship, that has always been, it's always been my dream to be self-employed. Always. My dad is, and he's just created a life where he has a lot of stress, don't get me wrong, because he might not be the best at time management, but he's still creating. He still has the opportunity to be like, I like this, I don't like this. And his network is, I don't think I could have achieved a half of what I've achieved in life had it not been for people in my dad's network.
Mm.
Like he has connected me with so many people, and that has inspired me to be like, well, of course I'd want to have a network as well, and staying in the orbit of like-minded entrepreneurs who
Mm-hmm.
wants to create a life of their own as well,
Mm-hmm.
and to talk with people who have different assets and or like assets in life and who can help me out with things that I might
Mm-hmm.
need, and then in return I am able to give them something.
Yeah.
And there's just a different energy when you talk to entrepreneurs. I feel like there's a different fire because everyone's doing what they love. Because
Mhm.
in order for you to succeed in what you're doing, you have like it's not a cliche for nothing. Like you have to do what you love in order for it to succeed. So just being a part of an entrepreneurial community,
Mhm.
it's just a vibe in itself that I could not imagine not being in. So it's
Yeah.
mostly the energy, the vortex that you just get sucked into of just
Yeah.
fire all the time. But it's a roller
Totally.
coaster. Like I think I have 15 billion emotions throughout a day. Like I'll wake up super happy and like let's get it, and then by noon be like, fuck, am I doing the right thing? Like is this, how is it
Mhm.
going to work? And then by dinner I'm like, oh yeah, it's okay, it's cool.
Yeah, it was a good day.
So yeah, so but all the emotions really help you find yourself.
Mhm.
Like you, I would say that's what I love, and I know I said it to you like in the beginning of when we met. I was like, knowing, like getting to know myself, like all of this that I've learned so far, and I think it was
Mhm.
like 2 months into us meeting each other. It's like this is what life is. This is like
Mhm.
getting to know myself. Like, it's a journey, and I love it. It's the
Yeah.
best.
Yeah. No, it is the best. Like really, we've been following our heart um and staying connected. Yeah, like you said, with other entrepreneurs just keeps that fire going. And we
Yeah,
really, can collaborate and co-create together. And it's so great to find sort of like a soul family who's also, maybe passionate about the same things and
yeah,
taking the reins in their life. And it's this elevated experience. And I'm just so grateful that we connected, obviously,
yeah.
and
Me
that
too.
we're in orbit together and creating the life of our dreams continuously. And um yeah, it's I'm just so grateful.
Me
I'm just so
too.
grateful. So
It's an amazing journey.
100%. So yeah, well, I mean, thank you so much. And I appreciate this conversation. I feel like we can obviously go forever, but I think we've probably lit some sparkles in a few people's ears here.
I hope so. That's the best thing.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah,
And this
it's
episode
amazing.
comes out on August 8th, which is, everyone's
Lion's
all hyped
portal,
on that
right?
Lionsgate. Yeah. So hopefully
Yes.
we've cracked open
Uh,
a few hearts to follow the life of their dreams.
yeah, I would say it's essential for you to follow what lights you up. Even if it's like a teeny tiny sparkle in your tummy, like just try it out. Like just try it out, see if it's for you. And if it's not, you've learned something. You can
Hmm.
like move on to the next thing. And
Hmm.
then all of a sudden you'll find something that just lights you up.
Yeah. That's so much better than staying stagnant.
Oh
So,
yes, yeah, that would be the worst.
all right. Well, where can we direct people to follow along your heart-led journey? And if there's anything we should keep an eye out for in the future.
Well, I have 2 pages. The one mostly focusing on holistic health is the Nordic Yogi on all platforms. And then I have Miss Kali Tattoos. So Miss and then the Hindu goddess Kali in tattoos, where it's just purely tattoos because I don't
Hmm.
want to spam people on the other page with it. So those are the 2 pages that you can find me. And definitely some travels coming up and new projects I have in
Hmm.
mind
Hmm.
with, yeah, just holistic health and just
Hmm.
overall well-being, art, all the good
Perfect.
stuff.
Blending all the beautiful things that light you up, and um,
Yeah,
you can be sure that it will be pleasing to your eyeballs as you are on your social media feed, because
thank
your
you.
branding is like
Thank
I just love
you.
to
That's the
scroll.
goal. That's
Yes.
the goal.
Yeah, it's so magnetic. So,
Thank
yeah, I'm excited to follow along your journey too, and obviously we'll stay connected, but hopefully others will
you. Yes.
follow along as well. So, thank you for
Yes.
being
Send
here,
me a
Caroline.
message. follow me. Let's connect. I'm always interested in connecting with people from all over the world. A
Mm,
tiny family.
love it. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Okay, so I 100% cannot forget to talk about the upcoming full and new moons. So I am adding this into the end of this episode, which, yeah, it's kind of perfect because I was talking about Leo energy. So we have a new moon in Leo coming up on August 16th. And what I find fascinating about this new moon in Leo, so it's at 23 degrees. So if you want to know what area of your life is going to be most affected by this new moon energy, then you want to look to 23 degrees of Leo and what house that falls in. So this will be the most highlighted essentially when it comes to the cosmic energy of the day. However, there's a few other, important players to this whole mix. So the new moon in Leo is conjunct Black Moon Lilith and a bit of a wide conjunction to Venus retrograde. So I already talked about, the chapter of Venus retrograde. But to be conjunct Black Moon Lilith, I find really interesting, which will be at 24 degrees. So literally like they're together. And this just adds a layer of intensity and oh gosh, Black Moon Lilith. I mean, it's an archetype I need to study more of, and I think it's so complex and interesting that it really does deserve, sort of its own sector of astrology, but it can be our like deepest primal fears, but also our like deepest place that you like get energy to go after said thing, to attack or to obtain or to accomplish or to protect. So it's kind of this primal force. It's also definitely related to feminine energy. So that's just one thing to just sit with when it comes to the new moon. Like there could be some emotions